Are you a member of a superannuation pension fund? If you are, how can you maximize the benefits? Roseanne East tells us how when Retirement Matters returns. Welcome to the program.
Relationships that build wealth, create opportunities, the right solutions. That's what we do at JN Fund Managers.
We're in pursuit of your financial security.
Portfolio and investment management services for individuals and corporate clients, from wealth building and risk management to preparing for a comfortable retirement. Strong, stable, secure.
We're in pursuit of your success.
Let's talk. JN Fund Managers, your safer, smarter financial partner.
Thanks for joining us. Roseanne, good morning.
Good morning.
Last week, you, along with our guest Sharon Smith, shared information in the first of a two-part program on types of formalized pension schemes. We looked at the IRS, that's the Individual Retirement Scheme, which, as we now know, is offered by many financial institutions. And we spoke afterwards about the JNIRS, that is, the Individual Retirement Scheme available from Jamaica National branches and JN Fund Managers.
Good morning, listeners and Annette. So, this week we want to look at Approved Superannuation Fund, which I will refer to as ASF.
Let's begin with a definition. What is an approved superannuation fund?
Essentially, it is an organized pension program created by a company for the benefit of its employees. Funds deposited in a superannuation account usually are tax efficient, and we'll get to that aspect later. The operations of an ASF will vary from company to company and depend on the plan's constitutive documents.
What do you mean by constitutive documents?
These are the documents that establish the pension plan, such as your master trust deed, your trust deed and rules, etc. And they are usually approved by the regulators, that is, the Financial Services Commission and Tax Administration, Jamaica. There are usually two types of superannuation funds operating in Jamaica: the defined benefit plan and the defined contribution plan. Again, we'll explain more of this on another occasion. Now remember, I'm just giving you a brief outline for context. Ideally, I recommend that persons who are members of superannuation funds refer to their administrators and trustees of their plan for full information. And their members' handbook is a good start as well.
I'm with you. We don't want to move away from today's main focus, which is how contributors to approved superannuation funds may maximize the benefits of their contributions to the ASF. If I'm understanding you correctly, though, the starting point is for contributors to have a good knowledge of what their ASF is and how it works.
There you go. ASFs play a key role and are managed by the trustees and administrators to maximize the benefits for the contributors. However, there are decisions which contributors can take that can make their contributions work for them even better in keeping with their retirement needs and expectations.
So let's explore some of those right now.
The first and one of the easiest actions that I recommend is that members consider taking advantage of additional voluntary contribution, also known as AVCs. That is, in addition to the basic amount of 5% that they contribute each month, they consider extra addition of funds from their monthly salary to their pension fund. Now, AVCs are done entirely at the discretion of the contributor. There is no pressure, but as a pension specialist, I personally recommend it for consideration.
How much can I contribute to my AVC?
Typically, most ASF members can contribute up to an additional 5% as their additional voluntary contribution. This means the members can contribute between 1 and 5%. It doesn't have to be the maximum of 5%. Note, though, that this depends on the rules of his or her company's pension plan. So again, the contributor must be guided by the rules of his ASF. There are plans which are approved which allow for a maximum of 20%, and therefore, for these, the members could contribute between 1 and 10% as their additional voluntary contribution.
So, for the AVCs, it can be between 1 to 5%. It doesn't have to be all of 5%. You can decide what's right for you.
That's correct.
Specifically, how can AVCs provide an advantage?
The first advantage is pretty apparent. The value of the contributors' fund is increased. Of course, as with the AVC, they are saving more for retirement, which means there will be more funds when retirement is achieved. It also has tax efficiency implications. Pensions contributions, including the additional voluntary contributions, are deducted before one's salary is taxed. So less of one's salary is immediately taxable. So you pay less tax now. And of course, that in itself is a saving.
So AVCs offer some degree of a tax shelter?
You could call it that. I prefer the term tax efficient. Then we move to the matter of compound interest. Now, the power of compound interest is so important that we'll explore the subject at length in another program. But for the moment, suffice it to say that if you have an additional voluntary contribution, you accumulate more funds on which you can now earn more interest. And there is, of course, a multiplying effect. Overall, this gives you more funds at your disposal upon retirement than the contributor who has not opted for AVC wrote.
So it's all about being disciplined and intentional regarding saving and investing for my retirement funds. But of course, I have to indicate my intention that I wish to choose the additional voluntary contribution option.
That's correct. And there's more. For persons who are members of a defined contribution plan, whose employers match their contribution after an identified number of years, it means that the contributor receives a higher matching contribution from his or her employer.
Even better, even better. But we'll have to close on that bit of information though and return next week with more retirement matters. Here's a reminder that your feedback is appreciated. Please send your questions to info@jnfunds.com. That's for emails. Text messages to 877-2612 or contact us through JNFM's website at www.jnfunds.com.
And as we close, listeners, be reminded that retirement is a journey, not a destination.
Find out more about that journey by joining us next Thursday on Nationwide Radio and savor each day, every day. Treat each day as a special day that it is. Take care of yourself and others. Till next week, have a great morning. Bye.